Hey, urban therapy with I said, urban therapy with sun. Urban therapy with sun show. Sunday afternoon, baby, 1 o'clock, run around one ish. You know what I'm saying? We here though, and we are in motion. We about on this 9th of July as we cruise through the summertime. Weather is okay today. Not a lot of rain today. Temperature is going to be mild in the 80s. You know what I mean? Regular, no heat wave type of temperatures today. So it should be a good day. And on this good day, on the Urban Therapy with Sun Show, we're talking about justice for secondhand smoke. Justice for secondhand smoke. Today, we're going to talk about people who smoke and the people who are affected by the smoke who don't smoke. There are a lot of people, as you know, who smoke, whether they smoke cigarettes, whether they smoke a pipe, whether they smoke we go cigars, whether they smoke blunts, whether they smoke crack, whether they smoke meth, whether they smoke something. There is almost nothing that you can smoke that won't affect a person who does not smoke, whether they are affected by the allergies that they have or whether they are affected by the um, the addictive or intox intoxic intoxication. I want to say intoxicative, but I don't think that's a word. But what I'm saying is, the ability to get high from someone smoking near you. You know how you can catch a contact from people. Well, they say that you can catch a contact high from being around somebody in close quarters who is smoking marijuana. So it's a health issue. It's a health issue, no matter how you slice it, even if you are an advocate for marijuana or whatever, or if you are one of those people who are in denial that cigarette smoke is harmful to you. And trust me, there are a lot of people who are in denial about the harmful effects of cigarette smokes. There are a lot of people out there who do not believe or who refuse to believe that cigarette smoking is bad for them. And unfortunately, they have had scientists and other so called experts who have come along to foster this theory, support this theory, and spread this negative propaganda. I think that the propaganda is negative, but some of the smokers might think that it's positive propaganda because they might feel like they're tearing down the lies that these vile, vile non smokers, these squares, these squares are putting out there. So, something that we have to take into consideration. So, we're going to talk about justice for secondhand smoke. Now, what I mean by justice for secondhand smoke, what I mean is we're going to talk about um, the victims of people who are around people, the victims who are the people who don't smoke, who are around people who do smoke, and how it hurts them. This is why it's bad to be in front of a camera where you can see yourself, a screen where you can see yourself. You don't need to see yourself. I'm looking at my eye like, yo, look like my shit's swollen, and it doesn't. It doesn't. But anyway, does it? My eye looks swole, y'all. Do they look swole? They shouldn't. I have not been punched in the eye. I am not experiencing any negative allergy symptoms today, even though listen. I've been cleaning up the dust and making sure I vacuum on a daily basis up in here so I can keep my kitty cat Crystal from killing me. Keep my kitty cat Crystal from killing me. She over there cleaning us off right now. She heard her name. She woke up like, yo, you said, oh, wait. Anyway, anyway, the people who do not smoke are affected by this. And there are people who smoke who don't think that anyone is affected by their smoke, including themselves. And even if they do acknowledge that smoking is harmful, They feel like it is their right to smoke. It's their thing to smoke, and they will smoke, and they don't care about smoking in front of other people. There are plenty of people who do smoke who are sensitive to other people who don't smoke, and they are more respectful. So you may know some people, like I know some people, who will actually go outside in their own houses. They will go outside and smoke so as not to affect the people inside the house who do not smoke. People like their children, people like their spouses, people like their grandparents. I have known some very respectful smokers, and I think it's interesting. It always intrigues me that you recognize the dangers of the way that smoke affects other people, even if they just don't like the smell. You recognize that that's a negative aspect or negative trait or negative characteristic of smoking. However, that's okay for you. You know, to me, smoking is like rolling the dice on your health. What's going on, Stacy White? Thanks for coming on through. I appreciate you. Yes, I do. It's hot, but it's good. It's hot, but it's good. It's good, but it's hot. I gotta let it chill. I gotta let it chill a little bit because I can't chug it right now. I have a burnt tongue. Okay. Justice for secondhand smoke. Justice for secondhand smoke. If you're the type of person that doesn't smoke and you don't like to be around smoke, but you may be in love with somebody who smokes, it's a situation that happens. A non-smoker is going with or married to a person who smokes. And I've always wondered how that type of relationship can exist. But it does. It absolutely does. I knew my mom and my stepdad, they were together about 30 years. Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this right. From 82 until his death in 2010. What are we talking about? 8 years in the 80s, 10 years in the 90s. That's 18 years. And then 10 years in the 2000s. So 28 years. Now, to be fair, that wasn't 28 years of marriage. That was 28 years of being together. So from 82 to 2010, they were together. And my stepdad smoked that whole time until he got close to the time of his death, where he really struggled and tried hard. I'll give it to him. He tried hard to stop smoking. It had a hold on him, and he would sneak and smoke a little bit, but he really did try to stop smoking. The crazy part about it is he stopped trying to smoke. He tried to stop smoking for his own health, for his own life. I don't think that that's very selfish. After all, you started smoking for your own life, your own health. Kind of. I don't know if health is the word that I should have used in that scenario, but nonetheless, we're going to let it fly. What up, Carol Chamberlain, mi friend, mi favorita? Thanks for coming on through. Nonetheless, near the end of his life, he really tried to stop smoking. And he was trying to stop smoking so he could live, so he could stop being in pain, so he could prolong his life a little bit longer. He didn't realize at the time he was killing my mom. He was killing her. And I mean, literally, him and my mom were trading hospital stays. She would go in and he would be out. She would come home. He would go in. She would be out. He would come home. She would go back. I swear. And And when he died, and he passed on February 10th, 2010, when he died, my mom stopped having to go to the hospital. She stopped, she suffers from congestive heart failure. And so any smoke that she was exposed to was bad for her. And he was killing her. And I don't know if he knew that he was killing her, but he was killing her. She was sick all the time. She could not get her heart condition, her lung condition under control while he was alive. And I honestly believe, without a doubt, that had he lived a little bit longer, she would not have lived a little bit longer. He was killing her. He was killing her. And I always wondered if she noticed that she didn't get sick anymore and was able to get her heart condition under control after he passed. I always wondered if she recognized that. Because that's exactly how it happened. You understand what I'm saying? That's exactly how it happened. When he passed, she got healthier. And she wasn't exposed to anybody else that smoked anymore. They would go on trips, drive down to North Carolina, New York, up to Milwaukee. They took long trips together with him smoking in the car. He driving and smoking, smoking and driving, driving and smoking, smoking and driving. With the windows up. My mom, my mama, she a G. Because I can't do it. I cannot be in no close quarters with somebody who smokes cigarettes. Weed, yeah. But I mean, really, weed ain't no better to be around. But it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my allergies as bad as cigarette smoke does. Go figure. It doesn't affect me as bad. So that's a clear example of when secondhand smoke almost took my mommy out of here. So you may have loved ones who may have suffered the same fate. You may have loved ones that didn't smoke but were around other people who smoke, or used to smoke, stopped smoking, was around other people who smoke, and got sick anyway. And there's so many diseases and conditions that you can develop because of smoking. Lung cancer, throat cancer, emphysema. There's another one. COPD. COPD. Smoking does a job on us. Carol Chamberlain says that had to be bad for Miss Rosie. She was a real trooper. I ain't never. I want to say I never heard my mom complain about my stepdad smoking. She did complain about it, but not necessarily just because of the smoking, but because some smokers are sloppy. They leave their cigarette butts places. They spill ashtrays. They don't clean ashtrays. He used to fall asleep with the cigarettes in his hand. You know what I mean? Potentially burning the house down. It's not easy. Now, let me be fair. It's not easy to burn down a house with a cigarette. It's not. The way that they make cigarettes burn now, more than likely the cigarette would burn out before any real damage to anything getting burned would probably happen. But I wouldn't take the chance. Would you? Some would. Yeah, so I do remember her complaining about that. Like, he'll be in bed, laid up, watching TV, fall asleep, cigarette in his hand. And she would watch the cigarette burn out. She could have reached over and grabbed the cigarette. He would have woke up though and been like, "What you doing?" Oh no, I wasn't asleep. Justice for secondhand smoke. If you've ever almost lost someone because of secondhand smoke, you understand what I'm talking about when I say justice. And and let me explain. When I say justice, I mean what can we do for people who have been affected in any way from secondhand smoke? What can we do? How can we make things right for them? Forget about making things right with them, because some of them ain't going to complain. Some of them, aren't really aware of how bad off that you can be with secondhand smoke. I would like to see the lungs of people who are around secondhand smoke a lot. I'll bet you, they have dark spots on them, just like cigarette smokers have, because the secondhand smoke is more toxic than the uh, cigarette smoke. And I know that I've read this somewhere. So what we're going to do, 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 what we're going to do. We're going to look it up. The effects of secondhand smoke. That's what we're going to do. The effects secondhand smoke. The effects of secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke. Hold on, y'all. The dangers of secondhand smoke. All right. What is the secondhand? What is secondhand smoke and why is it so dangerous? Smoking by parents causes respiratory symptoms and slows lung growth in their children. Exposure of adults to secondhand smoke has immediate adverse effects on the cardiovascular system and causes coronary heart disease and lung cancer. The scientific evidence indicates that there is no risk free. Wow. Wait a minute, y'all. Let me read this right. The scientific evidence indicates that there is no risk free level of exposure to secondhand smoke. Like, there's no way you can be around it and be okay. No way. Let me see. Let's see. How bad is secondhand smoke really? There seems to be a general agreement that secondhand smoke is bad. The case against secondhand smoke as a health danger has been made emphatically in over 30 U.S. Surgeon General's reports written since 1964. Sufficient studies have been performed that link secondhand smoke to cancer in non-smokers. Damn. Cancer in non-smokers. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. Carol Chamberlain says, my dad suffered from emphysema and a heart condition. It eventually took him away from me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. They look just like smokers' lungs. I've seen them in a lab. All right, let's go farther. Let's go farther, man. Let's see. Let's see what this article says. Site not found. Somebody ain't pay their website bill. Let's go back. Go back to the lab. Let me see. clevelandclinic.org. Okay. Okay. WebMD. WebMD often gives out pretty decent information. Seems to be a credible site. Being around tobacco smoke is bad for you, even if it's someone else's smoke. When someone smokes a cigarette, most of the smoke doesn't go into their lungs. It goes into the air where anyone nearby can breathe it. Smoking is banned in many public places, but many people are still exposed to secondhand and third-hand smoke, especially children who live with parents who smoke. Even people who try to be careful about where they light up may not um, protect those around them. What is secondhand smoke? Secondhand smoke, okay, it can come from a cigarette, cigar, or pipe. Tobacco smoke has more than 4,000 chemical compounds. At least 250 are known to cause disease. Exposure to secondhand smoke raises the risk by as much as 30%. The others will get lung cancer and many other types of cancer. It can lead to emphysema and is bad for your heart. Smoke makes your blood thicker, raises your bad LDL cholesterol, and damages the lining of your blood vessels. Eventually, these changes can make you more likely to have a heart attack or stroke. Smoking makes your blood thicker. Let's talk about that for a second. Because if you know anybody who has a heart condition, anybody who has had a heart attack, anybody who has suffered congestive heart failure, somebody who has a problem with the ticker, one of the first things that they prescribe for heart patients are blood thinners. So blood thinners like oh damn it, Coumadin, Coumadin, Coumadin. I had to remember what my mama be taking. Blood thinners like Coumadin, and sometimes even if your condition is not bad, like if you haven't had a heart attack, but maybe there's some concerns about the condition of your heart and your blood flow, they will recommend that you use aspirin, that you take aspirin or Tylenol, because aspirin thins out your blood also. But you have to watch out when it comes to heart patients because you don't want it to get so thin. You know, like balance is everything. It's just like nature. They don't want the blood to become so thin that you could, mess around and bleed out if you cut yourself or something like that. So there's are a lot of layers. There are a lot of layers to this whole situation. But the bottom line, and one thing that seems pretty consistent and that doesn't change a whole lot, is the fact that cigarette smoking is bad for you. And there aren't too many other good forms of smoking either. People want to talk about marijuana and how marijuana is not as toxic as tobacco, and it's not. They haven't found sufficient evidence to say that marijuana smoking will kill you. The problem is a lot of people smoke the marijuana in the tobacco papers. So that's like saying that you don't eat pork, but you will eat greens that have ham hocks in the greens. So it's a little ham hock in the greens, and it's also a little bit of bacon in the greens. You're still eating pork. You may not be you might not be cutting up and stuffing a pork chop in your mouth, but you're still getting the same effects of what you say that you don't want or what you don't do. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me continue reading. Okay. Smoke makes you okay. Smoke makes your blood stickier, raises your bad LDL cholesterol. Smoke makes your blood stickier, raises your bad LDL cholesterol, and damages the lining of your blood vessels. Eventually, these changes can make you more likely to have a heart attack or stroke. What is third hand smoke? Hmm, third hand smoke. Okay, let's go. Oh, I'm going to put this. Let me put this in the comments in case y'all want to check the article out yourselves. Please be my guest. All right. What is third hand smoke? It is a chemical residue left behind after someone smokes tobacco products or uses electronic smoking indoors. I mean, devices indoors. The residue builds up over time. It gets stuck in soft surfaces like carpet, furniture, and clothing. It can stay on hard surfaces like walls and floors, including in vehicles. Trying to air out a room or mask the odor doesn't remove it. And household cleaning doesn't always remove all the leftover chemicals. Goodness gracious. So they're saying that secondhand smoke is when you're around the smoke that someone else is smoking, even though you're not smoking. Third hand smoke is pretty much talking about how poisonous the chemical compounds that linger behind even after no one is smoking anymore. So if someone has been in your house and they smoke, even after the smoke dissipates, after you air out the room, they're saying it gets down into the fibers of the carpet, it gets into the paint on the walls, it can get into the cushions of your furniture. So if you have allergies or some type of resistance to or adverse, how I want to say it, if you have reactions to the chemicals that are found in the smoke residue that was left behind, you can still get sick over time. Okay, is third hand smoke harmful? Researchers continue to study how third hand smoke affects our health. They found several chemicals and substances in third hand smoke, some of which are carcinogenic, which means they could possibly lead to cancer. Third hand smoke. They say nicotine and tobacco reacts with nitric acid, which is naturally in our air and forms carcinogens. When nicotine stays on surfaces, it continues to react with the nitric acid and makes carcinogens. Some research has found has found it can damage human DNA. Studies in mice show harm to organs and cells. Third hand smoke raises biomarkers known to cause skin diseases like psoriasis and contact dermatitis. Being around third hand smoke also boosts biomarkers linked to oxidative stress, which can which can damage your cells. This can lead to other diseases like heart disease, cancer, and arthrosclerosis, hardening of the arteries. Man, this is a pretty good. This is a pretty good article. I'm going to continue. What is most at risk for third hand smoke? I mean, who's most at risk for third hand smoke? If you go into a space where someone has smoked, you may be exposed to second hand and third hand smoke. In addition to small children, poorer people are at risk for exposure to all types of smoke. First, they are more likely to smoke. Poor people are more likely to smoke. Wow. As a result, their children are exposed to secondhand and third hand smoke. In one study, researchers looked at levels of cotinine, the chemical that shows up in the urine after you're exposed to smoke in children. It was more than 5 times higher in children whose families lived in poverty compounds. I mean, compared to those in families with more money. People who rent homes or move a lot may be more at risk for third hand smoke exposure, third hand smoke exposure. One study found that third hand smoke builds up and stays in a smoker's home even if the space is vacant for 2 months and then cleaned. If a non smoker moves in, They're exposed to surfaces and dust that contain harmful chemicals from the smoke. Goodness gracious. I said, goodness gracious. Here goes the most concerning part and the part that deserves justice. Are secondhand and third-hand smoke dangerous for children? Kids are particularly at risk for the effects of secondhand smoke because their bodies are still growing and they breathe at a faster rate than adults. That's absolutely true. So, the conditions have been linked to these conditions have been linked to secondhand smoke exposure in children. SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. More respiratory infections such as bronchitis and pneumonia, more severe and frequent asthma attacks, ear infections, chronic cough. Mm, mm, mm. Smoking during pregnancy is especially dangerous to the developing baby. It's tied to premature delivery, low birth weight, sudden sudden infant death syndrome, limited mental ability, trouble with learning, and ADHD. The more cigarettes a mother to be smokes, the greater the danger to their baby. Secondhand smoke can affect children even when other household members smoke outside. Babies are especially at risk because they spend a lot of time indoors. They're exposed when they lie, sit, and crawl on floors. Crawling on floors, right, right. They also touch multiple surfaces and put their hands in their mouths. Yes, they do. A study done on mice shows that exposing babies to third-hand smoke, both in the womb and in early on in life, can affect their immature cells. Their immune cells. I can't read today, really. So I read that entire. Okay, there's still a little bit more, um, but we're going to stop there. We're going to stop there for a moment. And yo, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun Smoke. I almost said smoke. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show, and we are talking about justice for secondhand smoke. Justice for secondhand smoke. You in love with a lover who smokes. He's smoking you out. You got health conditions. That's without a doubt. Doesn't mean that you have to break up with them, but if they really love you, they will make up with them. And what I mean by making up with them is they will make a change. Sometimes you have to switch it around and rearrange, do something better for yourself. We are talking about my kids' health. And I don't play when it comes to my kids, and I know that you don't play around either. But we got to do a little better for each other, and we got to make things better for each other right now and make sure that it goes down now. Come on, man. Come on, man. My brother Ansel Jones is in the house. What's going on, my brother Ansel Jones? Good to see me some of you, my man. My mellow, my man, my mellow. Ansel says, I don't like people that chain smoke. This ain't the up and smoke tour. Funny thing, man. When I go to Eagles games, and even though sometimes I don't sit in my seat, I'll stand on the platform and watch the game from there. The problem is on that platform is where everybody comes out to smoke. That's where the smokers come out. Because you're not really allowed to smoke in the stands, but out there on the platforms, and the platforms, they have these. Okay, at the link, when you go up the steps up to the higher seats where I sit, each each landing of the steps has a platform, and on the higher landings, as you go up, you can see the field. So sometimes plenty of times I've stood right there and watched the game from there. It's a little hard to see at the other end zone, but when they're at this end zone, you can see it bird's eye view and all that. As long as I have my glasses on, I can see people's numbers on their jerseys and all of that. But anyway, sometimes people will ask me, yo, is it all right for me to smoke around you? And at least they have the courtesy to ask me if it's okay to smoke, because a lot of people won't ask. They'll say, listen, this is where we can smoke. If you don't want to be around no smoke when you're over here, then don't come over here. Now, those landings, those platforms are not strictly for people who want to smoke. They're just for people. Some people have standing room only tickets. In other words, you bought a ticket at a discount rate and it doesn't have a seat number. You can get into the stadium, but you have to watch the game from wherever you can watch it inside the stadium, and you don't get a seat. Some of those standing room only ticket holders smoke, and many of them don't smoke. I don't smoke. Now, I'm talking about justice for secondhand smoke, but I do believe that if you are a smoker, there should be places where you can go and smoke. So because I'm out there on that platform instead of in the stands where I paid my money to be, I don't really have a problem with people smoking outside. Outside. At least when we're out there, we don't have to be close together. But if the game is on, and I'm standing next to somebody who's smoking all crazy, I know sometimes I'll be out there like, oh God, because people chain smoke. They smoke one after another, after another, after another. I'm like, man, give the environment a chance to live. We out here with these Canadian tobacco fires. So most of the times when I come from a football game, you know, it might be beneficial for me to go get checked out or use my nebulizer or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about your family, but in my family, we can't smoke. On my mom's side of the family, anybody who smokes on that side of the family has met their fate, and their fate hasn't been good. Some people haven't met their fate, but they have gotten really sick. Heart disease runs heavy on my mom's side of the family. So whether with her, whether it's secondhand smoke or whether she smokes herself, it's not a good look. See, that secondhand smoke is trash smoke. But hold on. Like I said, I don't want to forget about this. I do believe that there are places you should be able to smoke. Like, I'm not against being able to smoke in bars. In bars. That's it. In bars. Because to me, even though I don't do it and never did it together, smoking and drinking, a bar is where you go to smoke and drink. It's a health, uh, it's a physically toxic environment because of the smoke, because of the alcohol. You don't go there, you don't go to a bar for exercise. You don't go to a bar to do your body any good. None. That's not what you go to a bar for. You go to a bar to drink, smoke, forget about your problems, hang out, listen to some music, maybe maybe dance a little bit, meet some people, be social while you are using substance, while you are practicing substance abuse. How about that? You go to a bar to become under the influence. To become under the influence. That's what you do. Ansel Jones says, I want to know how people get weed into concerts easily. You put it in their pockets. They ain't got no weedometer. They don't have no weed detector at no doors. You put it in their pocket. You can get any drugs, any kind of drugs into a concert easily. They check for metal. They have metal detectors. They don't have no plant detectors. They don't have no coke detectors. They don't have no substance illegal substance detectors. They just want to make sure that you don't go in there and stab somebody up or shoot somebody. That's where their interests lie. They're not concerned at a high level about you getting your smoke on. And because weed is so prevalent now and has become legal in some states and decriminalized in other states, you see a lot of people. You see a lot of people smoking at concerts. You smell it all in the air. Now, back in the day, and so they did used to do something about that. If they, if they smell weed smoke at a concert or whatever, they would find you and put you on up out of there. They didn't arrest you though. They didn't arrest you. Uh, they would just put you out. Well, I should say, I haven't known people to get arrested for smoking weed. Sometimes they would just make you put it out. It used to be a big surprise when you saw somebody smoking weed at a concert. They'd be like, yo, you don't break out drugs at a, in front of everybody. Nowadays, we getting to the level where we might see somebody smoke weed in church. They'd be like, Jesus said it was the burning bush. I said, Jesus said it was the burning bush. I said, God said burning bush, the burning bush. I'm smoking the burning. I got my Bible verses in hand. I got my weed inside of my hand, and now I'm pressing it against my lips and goes down to the lungs. And now I'm hung, I'm strung, all hooked. And I hope that I never get booked, but I know that one thing's for sure, that I'ma smoke a little bit more and has more places allow this shit. I'ma still smoke my sticks. Yeah, that's it. Smokes my sticks. Yeah, that's it. And I don't care if you don't like it because I smoke because I want to. I am grown and I do what I want to because my seeds are sown. But you understand, this one time I will put it out when I smoke around my mom. But sometimes niggas don't. They do all kinds of things. Right now, I won't follow that type of example. Trying to do a little something more for sure. But gotta deal with the world. All these like men, women, boys, girls had been exposed to this life, and it's kind of trife. Yeah, it's kind of trife, baby. It's kind of trife, baby. Justice for secondhand smoke. Can you sue somebody because you got cancer because you were around them and they were smoking? Well, let's look it up. Can you sue for can you sue for secondhand smoke exposure? Can I sue someone for secondhand smoke? Secondhand smoke can cause disease and injury, particularly after prolonged exposure. The effects of secondhand smoke are widely publicized, but sometimes difficult to prove. If you decide to sue someone for your exposure to secondhand smoke, you have a few options in your lawsuit. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Class action suit. Here we go. A class action suit involves numerous plaintiffs who all corroborate the same core issue or injury. In a class action secondhand smoke lawsuit, all the plaintiffs would be participating in the suit because of their symptoms and injuries as a result of exposure to secondhand smoke. So you may not be able to sue a person or a company directly, but you could get you can get a secondhand smoke class action suit started. That makes sense to me. It does. That makes sense to me. Um, but more than anything else, when we're talking about our health, hopefully you will be alive to even consider suing. Hopefully you will recognize how a condition that you have developed even came about dealing with secondhand smoke. The most important thing when we talk about justice for secondhand smoke is that you live to tell the tale, that you live to be able to fight for your life a little bit more. If that's not the case, then there is no justice for secondhand smoke. The person who doesn't smoke is the innocent victim, and that's all they are. They are the innocent victim. I don't care whatever dirt that they have done in their lives aside from this issue. The thing is, you didn't have nothing to do with your exposure to secondhand smoke. You were either in love with a person, close to a person, born of people who smoke, friends with people who smoke, working around people who smoke. And that exposure to those people who smoke could be the thing that made you really, really sick. What I wonder is if secondhand smoke is any easier to treat. And from the sound of those diseases and conditions that are associated with secondhand smoke, probably not. Probably not. And the illest part about that to me, is that when you are a smoker, you can stop smoking. It might be a little harder for you to stop secondhand smoking. In order for you to stop secondhand smoking, then the person who's smoking in the first place has to stop smoking around you. And you have to prevent yourself from being around other people who are smoking as well. So stopping your addiction, curbing your addiction, rehabilitating yourself and recovering from your addiction to secondhand smoke might be harder, way harder. Way harder. If I'm a smoker, if I'm a drinker, if I'm a user, I can stop using and my body will get better immediately. You know how they say with smokers, they say as soon as you stop smoking, your lungs immediately respond to it and start getting better immediately. Now, how does that work with secondhand smoke? You're not really in a powerful position. You have to remove yourself away from other people who do it. So you literally, you know how a lot of people feel like that drug addicts would benefit from being around people who don't use drugs, because those people who use drugs are a negative influence on those addicts who are trying to get clean. So they need to be removed from those addicts and be around other people who are sober, so it can help them in their sobriety, in their quest for sobriety. But what about secondhand smoke? Who's going to help you out with the secondhand smoke? Who's going to help you stop being exposed to secondhand smoke? Justice for secondhand smoke. Justice for secondhand smoke. What does Ansel say? I want to know how people get. Okay, well, no. Fast food got sued for people getting unhealthy. Yeah, kinda, kinda. But it was definitely a class action suit. And he also says, little Timmy got no job or credit to get the food. The heck? Little Timmy got no job or car to get the food. Hmm. I I don't know. You lost me on that one, Ansel. Carol says, only you can stop secondhand smoke. Don't be around smokers. Now, we can voluntarily not be around smokers, but we may still involuntarily be around smokers. Like, okay, so I cut off my friends and my family members. I stopped going around them, being around them because they smoke all the time. And I'm trying to get better because I got sick. But I might have went to the store. Somebody was smoking in the store. I might have got on the bus, even though you're not supposed to be smoking on public transportation. Sometimes when you catch the subway, people are smoking down on the platform, down the subway, even though it clearly says no smoking. But people do it. But people definitely do it. Co-workers, they may smoke. So even though they go outside, you might work outside, close to where they smoke it. So they came out to smoke in front of the building. And here you are working in front of the building. I think he means fast food. I don't know, Carol. I don't know. Minaj can touch it. Minaj can touch that one, No, but justice for secondhand smoke. Justice for secondhand smoke. The victims don't get enough attention, in my opinion. The victims aren't highlighted enough or talked about enough to where we can be comfortable that we're doing anything about this situation. And I think that something really needs to be done. This ain't right. You know, if you have participated in a particular act or activity and something happens with that, well, you made your decision to participate. Who are you gonna call? But if you haven't, if that hasn't been you, and you have tried to be healthier and preserve your life, but here you are exposed to other people who don't care. And you come on now, y'all. Before we get out of here, we got to talk about some of the smokers who are really arrogant and really self-absorbed and don't even believe that smoking hurts them or other people. Maybe they're in denial, maybe they've chosen not to believe it. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they think. Their actions show that they don't care. So they light up in front of anybody and everybody, wherever they can get away with it. And when you try to, advise them against smoking around people who don't like smoke or whatever, then they want to get angry. Then they want to get pissed off. And then they want to be even more rebellious. And sometimes smokers are very, very rebellious. You tell them that they can't smoke, they smoke anyway. Especially in their homes or places where they consider themselves to be a part of. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. Y'all don't smoke. I get it, but I do smoke. So you know what I mean? How you gonna tell me I can't smoke? The government has to shoulder some of the blame for this because you allow cigarettes to be sold. Ain't no way around it. You allow cigarettes to be sold. You sanction and zone these hookah bars, vapes, all this stuff, all of these devices, all of these substances. And people who don't use these things are the ones getting sick. They're the ones who are getting hurt. They are the ones having this to pay their co-pays because they back and forth to the doctor with these conditions. And what about the babies? What about the babies? The children, the newborns of smokers. I used to see this girl when she was pregnant. This was years and years ago. But I used to see her belly growing, and I would see her walking down the street smoking. I used to be like, "Yo, ma, what you doing?" And she knew she was wrong. We knew each other. She was like, "I know, but I'm about to stop. I'm about to stop." Oh, I'm like, "Come on, man." You know what I mean? I don't know, y'all. Because if you won't improve yourself or your condition for your kids, I don't know who you'll improve it for. You know, love or children. And when I say love, I'm not separating love from your children. What I mean is a lover. Now, most men will change their lives around for their children or for some pussy. Real shit. You know what I mean? You could say a woman, but I'm not going to stop it there. I'm going to say for some pussy because some men will go to the ends of the earth for some pussy or for some money, but definitely the two. Definitely the two. So a mother too. How many women out there? How many women out there have claimed that their lives were turned around, improved, and even saved because they had children? I know a lot of women who said that. Like, if it wasn't for my baby, I would still be out here doing the blah 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 blah. Or I might not be alive right now. My baby saved my life because I was on the road to ruin. I was killing myself every day. I didn't know what I was doing, but I know I didn't like myself. I didn't like my situation. I didn't like my life. And I was ready to end my life. And so I was doing things that were going to end my life until I got pregnant and had my baby. And I saw my baby's eyes for the first time. And I knew that I had to change everything around. And I did. How many times have you heard a mother say that? I know I've heard a mother say it plenty of times. Plenty of times. I've heard plenty of mothers say it. So why wouldn't that work with cigarettes? Since these babies are out here giving new life, their new life is breathing new life into us. So why wouldn't you stop killing the baby? Stop actively killing that baby. All right. What up, T Carry? Right, morning, noon, and night. Thanks for coming on through. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We're about to do these birthday shout outs, man. We're about to do these birthday shout outs. But yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about these arrogant smokers out here who don't care about anybody else's health, nor do they care about their own. They are more than willing to risk their own lives by smoking all the time. They're rolling the dice on their health, and they are exposing you to their bad habits and rolling the dice on your health too. No care, no care. They don't care. Well, we need justice. Justice for non-smoke. No. Justice for secondhand smoke. Third-hand smoke. Second-hand smoke. Let's do these birthday shout-outs. We have some birthday shout-outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 9th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them. Make it feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, Sami Patah. Happy birthday to you. And also, it's probably just Ty, because a lot of times the P is silent. And also, LaQuanda McCullum, happy birthday to you. And Charlonda Shriek Wilson, turning 46 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And also, the Chantel DM Locust, turning 49 years old today. And my man, my brother, Robert Sewell. Robert Sewell. Admin in the Daily Go Getimism, turning 56 years old today. Do the damn thing, my brother. And also Chevalier Lovett, turning 41 years old today. And Dwayne Break D Smooth, comedian D Smooth, happy birthday to you. And my girl Yvonne Lee, affectionately known to all her friends and family as Bonnie, Yvonne Lee Clinton, turning 52 years old today. And last but not least, Ofemi Pamela Kennebrew, my girl Pam Kennebrew. She done changed her name to an African name. Look at her. She doing the damn thing. I mean, I remember she helped me out years ago, you know, when I was having issues with my taxes and, you know, property taxes and all that kind of stuff. Good people. I hope that this day finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious July 9th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, hey, yo, secondhand smoke, we need some justice. Somebody out there must listen. Bust this. People out here smoking us. They smoking us under. They don't really care. And it makes me wonder how come we got to be around this kind of toxic environment. Somebody needs to call 5 men to come put out smoke, fire. The smoke ain't fire. I'm asking why you got to smoke around me, making me sick. Making me feel like I'm about to kick the bucket, and I'm like, fuck it. No, I ain't gonna let you smoke around me no goddamn more. And somebody gotta do something about this plight, because they smoking around me, and it ain't right. Smoking around me, smoking around you. Ain't like they got nothing better to do. Yo, me and my crew trying to get our health straight, and we ain't trying to do it on no delay. We won't wait to try to get from around these other smokers, because they remind me to 2 cars in the deck, the jokers in there. I don't mean the jokers high and low, the big and small. This ain't no game, y'all. Yo, when you start talking about my health, my wealth, my thing, myself, and my peace, my babe, my money, and my shit, my health, I'm not going for it no more. Going to make sure I look for some alternatives for sure. And I hope y'all do it the same. Don't let nobody out here sour your name. Call you something that you don't want to be. That's a sick motherfucker. That's serious to me. Hey, we going to do better as a team. Get ourselves away from this smoke. because it seems like that's going to take us out with the quickness. If you don't smoke yourself, why you got the sickness? Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night for another Daily Go Getimism show. So I can't wait to see y'all there. You think I can't when I can? You think I'm not the okay. All right. So, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. So, Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobas. Yeah, on the other side, my boobas. Yeah, on the other side, my boobas. Peace.